what's going on, guys? This is Liam, and quickly, where have I been? Okay, so there was a 2 week period where I decided I want to get the app done, I want to get Light done, I want to get a whole bunch of hiring people done, and I slept probably 2 nights a week and totally wrecked my health, and I was basically out of action for about 3 weeks trying to recover. Very, very silly, apologize. But what I'm going to do now, because you obviously want to know about tinnitus, so I'm going to get into tinnitus questions. So today I posted on my Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram yet, I suggest you do. It's Liam_stops_tinnitus. Okay, it's my Instagram. What I'm going to get to now is a couple of questions. And then after the questions, if you stay tuned to the end, I'm going to talk a little bit about lockdowns, and I'm going to talk about Australia, and I'm going to talk about tinnitus, because a lot of, if you guys haven't, if you don't realize this yet, where I'm from, Melbourne, Australia, Victoria, the state, Melbourne, the city, we had, not anymore, there are some countries that have surpassed us, unfortunately, but we had the harshest lockdowns in the entire world. And I had so many people contact me and say, Liam, I've got tinnitus because of the lockdowns, it's too stressful, and it's absolutely insane. I'll tell you the story. I had a friend of mine who is, we kind of talk about business, and we talk about lifestyle, and we talk about all this different stuff, and he's about 40 years old, and he was telling me that he's one of those guys that he can just become friends with anyone. I don't know how he does it, but he's so magnetic, and so he's friends with the guy who runs, I won't say the name of the charity, but if you're from Australia, you would know there's about 3 dominant charities in Australia, and they help people with homelessness and suicide and all sorts of things. They're really fantastic, they do amazing work. And so this magnetic friend of mine, he had dinner with one of the CEOs. So remember, there's the founder, there's the CEO, and a board of directors comes in there too, but he's a CEO, so he comes in there to help run the business as directed by the founder and the board of directors. My point is, he kind of doesn't have much say how the company works. But what he was saying was that this guy, the CEO, this multi I think it's over $100 million valuation company, charity in Australia, was saying that they don't have enough manpower to deal with the amount of suicide that is going on in Australia, in Victoria. Sorry, not Australia, Victoria. That is absolutely fucking insane. That is ridiculous. And I've also heard from just talking to people I saw people, I've part of groups, and I've also, before I left Australia, funnily enough, I was in Tirana, Albania, and I actually fled Tirana, Albania, because I started to get abused by police officers because I wasn't wearing a mask. I'm not going to do that. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to wear a mask. And I got so many police officers who would just harass me and tell me, you got to wear a mask, you got to do this. And you know what they did? You know what they did when they told me I had to wear a mask? They took off their mask so they could talk better. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, so I'm not going to get into I'm not going to say the word, I'm not going to get into the whole thing, but self-respect is really what it comes down to. And so Albania was done for me. Albania's done. So I'm now in Mexico. Okay, so if you're in Mexico City, I would love to meet you. I'm here right now, like this guy. Okay, this guy I'm actually with a friend of mine at the moment. We're traveling together, and this bloke right here, awesome guy, came up and he actually said, "Hey, dude, I've followed you for a while. I really like you. Can I get a photo?" So that's awesome. If you want to come meet me, we can. No photo. I don't care if you shit about that. But if you wanna come and meet me and talk, I would absolutely love to do it. I'd love to meet you. That'd be, if you saw my poll yesterday on Instagram, I was talking about who's in Mexico City. So there's a bit, I think there was about 5 people, so I sent that an email. Anyway, so the point is, I'm in Mexico City, and it's the lockdowns are just, it's unbelievable. And it's funny because there's a serious lack of knowledge. There's a really serious, and I'll you know what, I will talk about this. Fuck it, I'll talk about it. Fuck. My channel gets taken down for this. Fuck it, whatever, I want to explain something to you as well. I have the most testimonials, video and text, for tinnitus out of anyone on the internet. There is no, and that basically means the world as far as I'm concerned, okay? There is no one else that has as many testimonials as I do. There is not. But as cocky as that sounds, I want you to understand that tinnitus has got to a stage where it's like, oh, it's so easily fixable. It's so easily fixable, okay? Because there's so many people saying, I can do it, and here are the results. It's almost like if you have a broken car and you go on the internet and you look at all these stupid websites and these forums and they say, oh, you've broken your carburetor, you can't fix it, it's unfixable. It's like tinnitus, okay? You can't fix it, it's unfixable, it's clearly unfixable. It's totally effed, it's totally ruined, you can't fix it. And you find out there's like this subgroup of people who are not doctors, okay? If you look at Julian Cohen, he's actually trained as, I believe it's I'm going to totally butcher this, sorry Julian, a therapist, and definitely a cranial sacral therapist, so he's definitely trained. Myself, I don't have any formal training whatsoever, but isn't this interesting? I'm 27 years old, every second word I say in my life is cunt. That's every second word. I wear this stupid hat, I don't wear a suit, I can't even find jeans long enough because I'm 6'4", I'm so goddamn tall. That's scarring from when I got sick, by the way. I'm so tall, so my ankles are perpetually cold. Even here in Mexico, it gets cold at night. And yet I have figured out how to silence tinnitus. Now, does that say more about me? Or does that say more about the people that you've gone to so far to ask for advice? I've had so many people get tinnitus and they book an appointment with their GP and they say, yeah, there's nothing you can do, you should go and see your ENT, neurologist, whatever it's going to be, whatever's available in the local area and dependent upon the level of insurance. And they look online in the meantime while they're waiting a month to see the ENT, which is crazy, it's ridiculous. And they find me and they start getting results and they cancel the appointment with the ENT or the neurologist or whatever it's going to be, they cancel it. They cancel it because they're getting results and they can see that it's so fixable if you look at the body as a whole. And here's what people don't realize. Every 7 years, every single cell in your entire body has been replaced. In 7 years. Let me say that again. In 7 years, every single cell in your body has been replaced. But what are you going to replace it with? Are you going to replace it with high fructose corn syrup? Are you going to replace it with the absolutely non-required molecule of carbohydrates? Are you going to have pasta, brown rice? Are you going to lie to yourself and say, oh, well, I'll have sushi because I've got seaweed, I've got iodine, bullshit. I've got brown rice, that's okay. And I've got salmon, which is actually good. But then again, you're combining food groups and then you don't understand the Randall cycle. If I eat a steak, okay, let me explain. So I'll get to the question in a second. If I eat a steak right now, a big, juicy, marbled steak, absolutely delicious, and then I go and get, let's say, okay, let me explain. So, when I was in Texas, which I absolutely love, I was in Fort Worth and Dallas, and it was honestly, I've never felt safer in my entire life. And so, there was a girl that I met, and I started seeing this girl who worked at a hotel that I was staying. She's very lovely, Texas woman, absolutely fantastic. And so she took me to this American barbecue place, and you get the brisket, right? Brisket is basically like, I think it was it lamb? It was beef, I think. It was just the sauce they put in it was amazing. It was all meat. It was more like 30% fat. It was amazing. It was absolutely fantastic. But then they say, would you like sides with that? And the sides are like macaroni and cheese, or like Doritos, or Doritos. It was macaroni and cheese, but not Doritos. Sorry, but just all this bullshit, all these carbohydrates, refined carbohydrates, complex carbohydrates, whatever you want to call it. It all turns to sugar in your body. But here is the thing that everybody fucks up. Everybody fucks this up. In the same meal, if you have a beautiful, healthy, mineral-rich, fatty acid-rich, okay, saturated fat-rich, protein-rich, perfect couple of slices of meat, if it's a brisket, and then you get the macaroni, like the macaroni pasta sort of thing on the side, you've totally wasted it. You've fucked it up completely. Because you don't understand the Randall cycle, and you don't understand the when you eat carbohydrates along meat, or you eat meat along carbohydrates, it doesn't matter in the same meal. you inhibit the capacity of your body to absorb the fatty acids from the meat. And if you don't have fatty acids, then you don't have proper mitochondrial function. If you don't have proper mitochondrial function, forget it. Just forget it. Okay? You need to separate your food groups. Meat, vegetables, carbohydrates. You can have vegetables and carbohydrates together if you really want. When you eat meat or eggs or cheese, dairy is not a good idea. If you have animal products, it's just got to be animal products. It's just got to be, let me say that again. Animal products has to be animal products. Okay, what about the same day? Let's say, I haven't seen anything that's clarified this, but let's say you have two separate food groups. Excuse me. Let's say you separate it by 4 hours. That's probably the go-to, but I've seen lots of studies on a Randall cycle. You can go check that out yourself. But you want to separate your food groups, otherwise you're not going to absorb, once again, the minerals, the vitamins, the fatty acids, the saturated fats, and the proteins. The proteins are the amino acids, okay? You don't just absorb, it's not like you eat protein, excuse me, you don't just eat protein, you get protein. You have to have sufficient amino acids in the meat, and that creates the protein in your body, and you get muscles, you oxidation. And this is the other crazy thing. This is how fucked the world has gotten. A mate of mine, before we left Albania, the day before we left, or Tirana, Albania, a mate of mine who's here with me, he's a dentist actually, and he was telling me that in his gym, the day before we left, everybody was wearing masks in the gym. Nose, mouth. Some people were wearing cloth masks, some people got the N95, whatever the hell it is, some people got this thing. But they don't realize how are you supposed to oxidize glucose? How is oxidization supposed to work with no oxygen? You fucking idiots. You idiots. And you might say, well, this is the rule, this is what the government wants us to do. Since when does the government have any say in what you're supposed to do in your livelihood? If you had any idea how many Mexican people I've told to fuck off when they tell me to wear a mask in their restaurant, you would probably think I'm an asshole. You would think I'm an asshole. You would think well, this guy's Liam. Why don't you just wear a mask, Liam? You're such an asshole. Let's wear a mask. No, I'm not going to fucking wear a mask. I'm not going to compromise my oxygen absorption. I'm perfectly fucking healthy. If you're sick, stay home. Fuck you. I'm perfectly fucking healthy. I'm absolutely fine. I'm not going to fucking ruin my life. I'm going to go out and do whatever I want. I'm going to walk around. I'm not going to go into an old folks home. And it's just ridiculous. It's just absolutely insane. And most people, they talk a big game, but as soon as it comes down to like, sir, could you please wear a mask? Oh yeah, sure. And then they post on Facebook about how cool they are. I'm so cool. Oh, freedom is the cure. We all need to band together and hang out. Blah 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 blah. Nobody, and this has nothing to do with the current situation, but tinnitus-wise, when people get told tinnitus is for life, the problem is not that they get told that. You're always going to get told horseshit by people who get taught horseshit. So let me say, you're always going to get told horseshit by people who get taught horseshit. ENTs. But the fact that you accept it, okay, and I accepted it too, okay, because I was in this little cube. You get stuck in this little like cube or square of this is how the way the world works. Has to be how it is. I'm going to listen to the doctors. Doctors and police officers are the ruling people. When I walk into a bar or a restaurant and somebody says I have to put a fucking nappy over my face, that's the way it goes. I have to wear it. No. Shut the fuck up. Man up. Okay? Now, let me just pedal back. I know a lot of you are riddled with anxiety. I'm saying this to the people who are, thinking, oh, tinnitus is really annoying. I just want to get rid of it. How do I do it? That's for you. But for those of you who are thinking, oh my God, like my life is falling apart. I don't even go outside. I don't care what's going on in the world. I don't give a shit about the bars. I don't give a shit about this. I don't give a fuck about anything. Liam, just tell me how to get rid of tinnitus. Okay? So let's get to the questions. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to some... How do I do this? Okay, so I posted a question. Okay, so these are, what did I say? I said, what do you want to see in my next YouTube video on Instagram? Okay, and so I'm going to go through the questions. There are some that I saw before that I really liked. Okay, Romina Lemma says, what do you eat in a day? Okay, so I'm going to eat steak and eggs. Today I had pulled pork. I had pulled pork by itself with some lime on it. It was absolutely fantastic. I put some salt on it. I actually put some sriracha sauce on it. Don't tell anyone. It was absolutely fantastic. It was amazing. I'm probably not going to eat anything now because it's basically, it's nighttime now, so I'm not going to eat anything now. But I eat meat and eggs. And by the way, guys, I also had prawns as well. I had prawns. They're absolutely fantastic. So you can have seafood. When I say you can have, it's like that kind of language is saying like, oh, Liam is going to dictate to me exactly. I'm going to listen to Liam and nothing. You got to understand, you can still break the rules a little bit, okay? But as I said before, don't combine your food groups. So if you're just finding my YouTube channel now, or you're just discovering who I am, you shouldn't be thinking, oh, well, I'm just going to listen to Liam and I'm going to only eat meat. I've never ever said you should only eat meat and nothing else, okay? Plants serve a purpose, but plants are medicine, okay? And meat is a building blocks, okay? They're building blocks. Plant is medicine and meat are building blocks, okay? You got saturated fat for the brain, you got saturated fat for the nervous system, okay? You have the moisture creates a conduit for all sorts of neurotransmitters like serotonin, okay? It's a whole thing. There's a really good book on it called Vegetarianism Explained by Natasha Campbell McBride. Anyway, so the point is you can eat a whole range of things, but just separate them. And when I was sick, I had a pumpkin soup, okay, and it was fucking fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic. I felt amazing after I ate it. I felt really, really good. I felt really, really happy. I felt really, really good. But then the next day, I felt pretty good, and then I ate about 5 eggs in the morning, felt ready to go, okay? Because it's a cleansing agent. When I got sick, if you get tired and you get run down, you already have the virus or bacteria inside of you, and it gets more active because you're so run down, your immune system can't defeat it. Okay. Anyway, so plants can help with that if you get sick, but you can prevent that by eating meat, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, so what do I eat in a day? A whole lot of meat and no carbs. Not essential for human life. Okay, Justin Fernandez says, discuss about neuromodulation in treating tinnitus. Okay, I don't really buy it, to be completely honest. My takeaway from it is, here's the thing, if your anxiety caused tinnitus and your anxiety alone, then you can beat tinnitus by neuromodulation, by really, really believing it's going to work and meditating. This is what I see. Okay, so neuromodulation, what I see this as is these ridiculous food studies where you look at, what's that guy's name? And he had that ridiculous vegan study where it said, oh, well, veganism reverses heart disease or whatever it was. And what they did was they got the sickest patients they could find who were totally fucked, and they put them on a vegan diet. But guess what? They lied and they gave them eggs and milk. But don't tell anyone. What's that guy's name? I can't remember his name. It's like every vegan on YouTube quotes it, but they have no idea these people were fed eggs and milk. And also the photos that were shown were from a different study. So it was the most corrupt piece of shit I've ever seen. But it's like very famous. Every vegan says it, and it's bullshit. And basically what happened was, oh yeah, these people, all we did was change their diet. But if you look at what they did and what they did to these people, they did yoga, they went to bed early, they cut out it's not as though eating lots of plants helped. It's that they cut out alcohol, coffee, tap water. They cut out processed foods. They cut out sugar. They also cut out excess carbohydrates. So they started eating more tubers. So they started eating sweet potato, things like that. They started exercising, started getting more sunlight. They did group therapy. So these people were destitute, and then they came they went on the most healthiest regimen you can imagine. And so this is like what I say when people say, oh, Liam is the guy who talks about food fixing tinnitus. That's fucking ridiculous. That is fucking so wrong. It's so far from the truth. It's insane. There's so much more to beating. That's like a tenth of beating tinnitus. So when people say, oh, veganism fixes people's heart disease and atherosclerosis, no, that was like 10% of fixing it. It's the same thing. It's a whole body thing. Can't even. So neuromodulation. That's what I was getting at. Sorry. So, neuromodulation. What I was getting at is that when I read these courses about neuromodulation, it's not just neuromodulation. It's a whole lifestyle change. You look at it and you talk to people who did it, and they bring it up and they try to cover it, but you read the actual studies and literature, and it's a whole lifestyle change. So why pay $10,000-$20,000 when you just do lifestyle change? I've had people who paid $10,000 for neuromodulation, and they came to me, and they cut out milk, fruit, and carbohydrates, and their tinnitus is now gone, and they're 45 years old and they had tinnitus for 3 years. How much did that cost? I'm pretty sure they saved money on that bullshit food, okay? Okay, how to get rid of tinnitus in a pandemic. I'm skipping some of these questions because I think I've answered them before. How to get rid of tinnitus in a pandemic. That's a bit of a vague question, so I'm going to need to know. Maybe you mean like gyms are closed and you're very stressed out. What was I saying before? Okay, I was saying you have to stand up for yourself. So many people you can tell people to do something and they'll do it. You could walk up to somebody in a supermarket right now and say, hey, what the fuck are you doing? Show me your ID right now. Give me your ID. And they'll go, oh my God, okay. And they'll give you their identification and show it. Because people are so pathetic. They're so... I know this sounds ridiculous because people are like, Liam, how do I beat tinnitus? What's a step-by-step thing? But unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. You can do a step-by-step thing, but there's always going to be contingencies. It doesn't apply to me what I do now. I understand this, but I have this situation, what do I do now? There's contingencies. There's all this stuff, okay? So you need to... It's just, I don't understand, to be completely honest. When I was raised, it was raised to not be a man, because I feel like that isolates women, but it still includes women as well, men, women, whatever. Be a strong person, stand up for what you believe in, and everybody else can just get fucked. They can get fucked. I'm going to do what I want to do, and all of you can fuck off. It's going to be me. I'm going to do this. I'm not going to cheat, lie, or steal. I'm not going to hurt anybody else. But I'm going to do what I want to fucking do. I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to do it right now, not tomorrow, not next day. I'm going to do it right fucking now. And no matter what you say, I'm going to fucking do it. That's what I would do. In a pandemic. Okay, sleeping advice, programs, and benefits. Okay, good question. If you have a mattress with metal in it, get rid of it. If you have a Wi-Fi router in your home, get rid of it. Check your house for mold. Use a mold test on Amazon. Get rid of it. I want you to get AM raising sun. Okay, so the sun, the morning sun, the sunrise, raising sun. I want you to get sunrise light in your eyes and your body, as much of your skin as you can expose publicly without getting arrested. Same with sunset. I want you to cut out food and water and everything before you go to bed. So as soon as it gets dark, you have no food, you have no water, you have nothing, okay? I also want you to do exercises on your neck to loosen your neck. I want you to get a comfortable pillow and a firm mattress. I want to make sure that you have no flame retardants in your mattress, because if you do, then you have bromine in your mattress and you have a whole bunch of hormonal problems. Do that. Testosterone and tinnitus, do squats and get sunlight. Oxalates, don't eat plants. That's fucking stupid. They're medicine, two-edged sword. If you're sick, you can take them like I was. Maybe some of you are sick, you have an infection, you can take them, but don't take them every day. It's just ridiculous. You wouldn't take Panadeine Forte or amitriptyline or amoxicillin or anything like that every day. You'd just be wrecked. Don't do that. Samuel McKenzie says, hate mail from people and threats from Big Pharma. Yes, I have had that happen. I have had people contact me and say, I'm going to gonna I probably get, I would say I get a dick pic once a month. I get a dick pic once a month, and I get people email me and say I'm gonna fucking kill you and stuff. And I also get doctors message me and say, you shouldn't be doing this, blah blah blah. And I message them back and I send them a link to all my testimonials and I say, here's my testimonials, here's my proof, here's what I'm doing, here's how it's safe, here's everything I do. Now your turn. And you think I get a reply? I never get a reply. I've got a template set up to send it straight to them. So it's just, yeah, I get hate mail, of course, because people want to be a victim. That's life, and I'm telling people how to not be a victim, unfortunately for them. And that's basically it. Okay, so that's basically it. I hope I had a bit of a rant there. I hope it helped some of you. I went through a couple of questions, and if you want to know more about Triumph-O-Tinnitus 3 or my course, I'm going to put a link right below. No webinar, no nothing. You can just go and look at my course and see what you think. Okay, fuck tinnitus.